and I think we might have this story in one of our books, but we were at Comic-Con in San Diego, and we were at the hotel, and there may have been a little bit of drinking involved in this, but maybe not.
Maybe.
And we decided, the three of us, John and my daughter and I, decided that we would go to Gavin, John's manager's room, and do Ding Dong Ditch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There was drinking.
It's a very nice hotel in San Diego, right on the bay, and so John says he's in room 312. So we go to room 312, and he's banging on the door, and nothing's happening, and Claire, who knew all along that Gavin was in room 212. So he's banging on the door, so then he decides, he says, well, this will be really funny when Gavin opens the door, I might just moon him a little. So nobody answers this door except whoever was in this room called security. So we could hear, Claire and I could hear the security coming up the stairs, and Claire turns to me and she says, run! His pants are at his knees! So Claire and I are tearing down this hall towards our room, and he's like, it was his jeans were at his knees. He had his underwear still on.
No, my underwear was half down.
I was going to save you a little obnoxious. So he's like this.
Trying to keep the front up but the back down, so if the person did come out the door, they would see the ass, and I'm trying to run away. And when I see these two running, I'm thinking, they're up to something, they've done something. So I start trying to run and can't. What do? I fall.
He wipes out straight down the carpet. Run.
Yeah, that was evil.
And then Claire and I get to our room first. Lock the door. Leave him outside. And Scott's in the room next door. We had one of those rooms, and Scott, of course, had gone to bed, completely ignoring all of us, which he often does. And he's banging on Scott's door like, oh, let me in, because the security are coming, right? Scott finally opens the door and
What? Let me in! Why are your pants down? It's not your lucky night, let me in! Yeah, that was awful. And so, I don't know, funny ones or awful? I've done the best. One of the good ones. We were in Wales, and it was my mom and Carole and my dad, myself and Scott. And again, Scott had gone to bed. And it was after midnight. We'd all been up being silly or talking, and it was a summer night.
We actually hadn't been drinking this time. We were watching some kind of
horror movie. I think it was Freaks.
That's a whole nother.
It was there's an old movie from the 30s and 40s called Freaks, and again.
One of us. Yes, one of us. Oh God.
And it was, they turned her into a duck. I love it. But the thing was, I wanted to see it because someone said you have to see this movie, and they made it as they thought was being something to get more respect for people in freak shows at the time. But really, you look at it, it's really not. It's horrible. But it's if you haven't seen it, it's one of those must-see movies, but know when you're going to see it, it's going to freak you out just a little bit, okay?
Mimi, don't watch it, you won't like it. I've seen it.
So, we've been done watching this movie, and I said I was going to go check on Scott, make sure he was okay. And so I went into the other room, and I then went to the front of the house where we have all the power boxes, and I went to the house, and I just went, and everything went black. And we have a house by the sea in Cardiff, so when you're by the sea and there's no street lights, and by the beach, all you have is like the moon, if there is a moon, and it is pitch black.
So my mum and I are sitting on the couch. The main dad and him are going. I'm in my Scottish accent because my mum turns to me and she says, "That wee bugger, he's turned out the power."
So my eyes have adjusted, but they haven't, because in the main room it's all really brightly lit, and I can see them because then I go into my front closet and I take out, God knows why I have these, my infrared.
Seriously, totally serious.
Infrared, because I'm like, I'm gonna see these
And he's
things.
on the ground.
And I'm on the ground crawling. And they're literally holding hands, my mom and Carole, freaking out, but walking right next to me. And I can see them. And I can see, that I can just see them going, where is he? I know he's there. He's somewhere. And they're going, I know, but I don't want to find him because he's just going to freak us out. And I'm on the ground going.
And you know where we went? You'll love this. My mom and I went into the big bathtub.
Well, because in the main guest bathroom, it's in the middle of the house, and the bathtub is at the back end of the wall, so you can see, and there's no windows. There's a big window next to it, but you can then see what's coming at you.
Because
and if it was a psycho serial killer, you could break the window because we have a big statue of Caesar. You could throw Caesar through the window and get up.
Because
now, I thought about this.
Well, my mom and I are like, we've seen these movies. Let's find the place where there's only one way in and we can watch for him. And so we're backed up in the bathtub. The two of us are holding the statue of Caesar.
And here's me coming into the bathroom.
Because he comes in right behind us before we even close the freaking door. And we're up against this bathtub and we know it's coming and we can see it's coming and we peed.
Thank God they were in the bathroom because he just went down the drain. But yes.
We knew it was him, you know it's him, but it's dark and you're like, oh.
So that was one of the funny ones. Then one of the evil things that they did to me as a kid is they put me
in the closet.
No, they put me in the closet, but in order to shut me up, they shoved my mouth full of potato chips.
He was like 7 months, couldn't hardly chew him, almost killed him.
Almost killed me, and then and what they did, they filled me with potato chips, and then another time you put me on a swing, and you were swinging me, and I wouldn't shut up, because they used to have to, like, when my parents would go out, my mom would be like, just make sure the baby, and the days when you could, kids would be left at home, no worry, this is why you worry. Andrew and Carole, my brother and sister, pushing me on the swing, pushed me so I won't shut up, my brother just went, oh, shut up, and pushed me, and I flew off the swing. Right on the ground and cut my lip, right? And, mangled my pen. So my mom,
what a mouth wound looks like.
A mouth wound on a kid, right? Bleeds a lot and swells up. So my mom and dad came home and what happened to the baby? He cut it eating chips. And he fell, and my mom's like, chips did not, crisps. Chips did not lacerate his mouth. I didn't do it, Mom.
So as often happened in our childhood, we blamed Andrew, our middle brother, and he got punished.
It's true. It's true. That's what happened. When the golf carts were driven. Never mind. When the golf carts were driven into the lake. Andrew got blamed. Because I always ran faster. I knew how to talk. My brother would, when he would do something wrong, if anything was going, we were all doing something wrong, we knew when to leave. Right? You do it, you go, that's cool, leave. My brother would be like, we'd be gone, my brother would be there going, oh, that's really cool. Wait a minute, what over there? And if we did this, and by the time they're cuffing him.
Well, we also
Andrew was brought home in police cars.
Way more than we were. And we probably deserved it way more.
I make it, that sounds like he's a criminal. In Scotland, it was very much, the police were very much community policemen.
Yeah.
So if a kid got in trouble, my uncle was a policeman, they knew where we lived, and rather than making the kid walk home if they'd done something wrong, it was a little more, well, maybe it should be this way rather than, the police would bring the kid home and almost the shame of coming in the police car to the front of the house, your parents are like, oh dear God, what did he do next? But it was nothing bad, really. It, you know, it was for silly things.
Part of it, we had pretty smart mouths, and I was the only girl in my family. The last Barrowman girl born when I was born was 57. When I was born, man, I had the men in my family right around that little finger. They got away with hell.
Yeah, but they also got back at her because she hates monkeys. She absolutely hates monkeys. She cannot stand them. And my uncles, one Christmas, they bought, you know, the old big fashioned prams that they were, you know, like the royal prams. So they bought her a big pram, and my mom had made it, you know, bought a very expensive doll, put the doll with all my grand, and made the clothes. My aunts had made the blankets for it. Carole was going to be wheeled out, and just before they wheeled it out, what my uncles did, they took the big hairy monkey from my cousin's room and put it inside. So they wheeled it out, and Carole went, ah, put like,
I am still scarred from life.
she wouldn't go see Planet of the Apes.
You almost killed me in our panel yesterday.
And she didn't call them monkeys, she called them boggins.
Oh, yeah.
Boggins. Don't like the boggin, Mom?
Well, the last story I was going to tell you that was a quick, funny one is, as you can imagine, having this as your uncle, my kids learned a lot of stuff from this young man here. My kids are in their 20s now, and they still participate in these kind of shenanigans, but their favorite thing that he taught them was when they were old enough to do this, he made, I think, the big mistake of telling them that I don't like to be
touched, licked. That sounds really gross.
Like when you're a kid and you're goofing and you can tickle me, you can do anything, but do not lick my neck or my face. So he thought it was really funny to teach my toddlers to lick my face.
Because I used to, when I'd see her, hadn't seen her in a while, and the kids were there, I would pin her down, hold her hand, you know, like my brother used to do to me, and drop like a drool spit, you know what I mean? Come on!
Everybody's done it!
Every brother's done it to a brother or a sister, whatever.
Some of us are only children.
Oh, only child. Well, then you don't know what you're missing. But, so I used to pin her down, and rather than doing the drool, I just used to go and lick her face, particularly after you've had cheese.
First thing in the morning! So you would get my kids, and they would come in, and Kevin would like get out of the room. And then they would pin me down, and then Claire Turner would be like,
just licking her face. And I would, in my head, I'd be going, this is gonna need therapy in 20 years. Because this is kind of wrong, but it's really fun.
And you think that's what they still do it. When we are together at Christmas, it's the highlight of everyone and so I spend a lot of the first few hours just thinking, get it over with, because I know
she'll say, and if we have company, it's really weird to watch their faces, because she'll walk in the room and go, okay, get it over with, lick me. And my neighbors in Palm Springs were like this, did she really say that? It's a very liberal household, that Barrowman household. It's funny because my neighborhood where we live in Palm Springs, mostly gay. There's only two straight people in the whole street are my mom and dad, and they live with us. But it's like a gay Knots Landing. I love it. The whole street, every house, and the cul-de-sac, everybody, it's either gay or lesbian. It's fantastic.
A show about that.
I want to do it.
That would be awesome.
Totally.
Yeah, let's do that.
We can call it PS Colony. See, that's how ideas are born, and you were here. PS Colony.
See that.
Let's make it. Yeah, okay.
Questions. That was way
Because
long.
we got some characters in our.
Yes.